Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night Hard Mode Fresh, and in this episode we will be entering the Secret Sorcery, Lab, and encountering Dominique again.
This was your proposal, Exorcist. Explain yourself.
I should have been there, but you broke your word as well when you laid that trap for me.
I wasn't about to allow the book to fall into your hands.
As a reminder, Alfred is still after the Legiath.
Perhaps for your parents.
Someone has been putting ideas in your head.
Mary.
Yes, and I may have to exorcise them from you.
Whoosh!
No, wait!
Awkward turnaround animation.
I would have preferred you not see that.
So the trap Alfred laid was for you?
Yes, and that's why I sent Zangetsu to deal with it. He has the power to stop Alfred from teleporting. I thought he might be able to contain Alfred.
But unfortunately, Zang was unable to stop that Mang.
No, Zang just straight up disobeyed her orders. We will come into the reasons why later on.
So I suppose I had better tell you. My parents were exorcists, like me, but during the demon outpouring 10 years ago, they were killed in battle. So I have my reasons for hating demons.
I mean, hey, they're called exorcists, not warriors, because I've seen the Exorcist. Those guys couldn't pick a fight with a 10-year-old.
Oh, come on. That 10-year-old specifically had the ability to crawl backwards downstairs.
Which automatically gives her cheat codes in life.
All right. I'll help you. Thank you. I'll do all I can for you in return.
Yes, I'll make
Bye,
all
Dominique.
promises and all fulfillment. We'll see you later, okay, hon?
All right, we've got the Durandal.
kill
We have
you
the
in the
Durandal
end.
now, so most of this area is actually going to be relatively easily. An interesting change for the Secret Sorcery Lab for hard mode is, as I have brought up like infinite number of times now, the enemy density and placement for hard mode is drastically different. That's drastically different slash much more dense than it is on normal mode. So the Liturgy that you just saw us kill is not normally here. Matter of fact, this room specifically usually only has 2 Lamashtu and a Dark Elemental floating around in it. Now it's got the 2 Lamashtu, a Dark Elemental, and 2 Liturgy in it, meaning that there's much more projectile spamming going around.
Looks like a jester.
Also, the Dark Elemental travels slightly faster on hard mode.
Increase speed, change direction.
It is relatively important to explore all of the Secret Sorcery Lab while we're here, because this teleporter, although isn't important in and of itself, is very important for us to have it specifically so that we have a faster way into this area if we need to continue exploring it, which we probably won't, because this is actually a very small area. More backstory about the crystal transformation that Jiva went under.
The crystals. Of course.
Hey, Cortex isn't in this game, thankfully.
Although it does look like we're in the toxic waste level in Crash Bandicoot 1, to be honest.
Only because it's a tad too green. Alright.
Just yes, very, very green, in fact, very slimy.
Alright, so we're putting on the gauge glasses specifically because we are prepping for this boss fight. Behold, Doppelganger! Doppelganger is an interesting boss fight in that she's got 4,000 HP, and she is primarily a katana user, but she also has access to the flamethrower shard and Draconic Rage. However, the big things that you need to watch out for, honestly, are her katana techniques, because her helm splitter specifically has the ability to inflict you with minus con, which will increase the amount of physical damage that you take from attacks. Her flamethrower, despite the fact that our flamethrower does not work that well, covers up a majority of the screen, and she also has access to the Crimson Storm special for the katana, which is the ranged attack, Jinrai, which is the hyper dash, and Sogetsan, which is the 3-prong high damage move that the katana can do.
You chose a rather poor location to launch your attack. You did not have the reach to hit me, beach.
And so we have slain the doppelganger. And for slaying doppelganger, we get Shadow Tracer. Also, her corpse is still right there.
Running in place.
Shadow Tracer is an absolutely terrible thing because, like, every single time that the Igavanians have tried to do the doppelganger thing, and in fact, almost every single time an action RPG has tried to do the doppelganger thing, it just straight up doesn't fucking work. You get a doppelganger, but it attempts to follow specifically the attacks that you're doing with a slight delay behind yours, which means that for a majority of the enemy placements of the game, it just straight up won't actually hit anything. And it can only really copy your melee attacks because it doesn't have an MP pool. So, yeah.
I'd like to think that the theme, the lesson, the core takeaway lesson of the doppelganger is you can never replicate the real thing just by copying it.
You can get close, though. The spiked breastplate is honestly one of my favorite armor pieces in this game. I don't find a lot of use for it in the other Igavania titles, but here not only is it relatively high defense, it also has the prevailing spikes effect on it that it has had in the previous games. So that when we get a specific end game steroid, it makes it so that we can farm money extremely fast. Because whilst all you have to do in order to destroy lanterns now is just walk over them. It's very nice. We got Resist Darkness, a shard that is pretty objectively useless. There's like 3 dark elemental spells that Miriam has to worry about for the entire fucking game, and yeah, I think like we're already past 2 of them. You have the Thalciu spell that the dark elementals themselves have, the Thalciu that the line of demons gets, and the Void Ray that you get Void Ray that the Abyssal Guardian gets, and you also have a Death Cry that the Cryo Wraith has. The thing is, none of those are honestly all that big of threats. Because Void Ray is on Abyssal Guardian, you have the ability to just safe zone against it for the entire time that it's active. Death Cry on Cryo Wraith can be baited out. Thalciu is honestly relatively difficult on Dark Elemental, but because it's so heavily telegraphed on the demons, you don't have to worry about it there. And I'm honestly unsure. There is one other Dark Elemental attack in the game, but I want to save explaining it for when we actually fight that boss, because I really like that boss.
Oh, better watch out for those swingers.
Yes, environmental damage on hard mode is still ridiculously high.
Here, kitty. A little slow there. You gotta pick your paws up.
The reason why I'm actually bothering to clear out this room is because if we can actually get the shard from the macaron, it is one of the best, the best/second best method that we have to inflict poison in the game. It is just slightly better than Acid Jet for inflicting poison. She's got this spell, Toxic Storm, which hits an area in front of Miriam with, a vertical pillar of poison mist. It doesn't do all that much damage on its own, much like Acid Jet, but it does have a higher percentage chance of actually inflicting poison, at least from what I remember. The other reason why we're actually killing all the Lamash juices, aside from the side quests that we've already completed, is they have the ability to drop the food item ambrosia, which is extremely important for later cooking recipes that we want. I don't think it's actually important for this run specifically, but for later food recipes in general that are relatively good, it is very important. I think it is part and parcel of the flan cakes that you can make. And so, after successfully clearing the Secret Sorcery Lab, we end up in no. Welcome back to Inferno Cave, Mr. Cloud. I fucking hate this zone, especially on hard mode. The increased enemy density is something that every area has to deal with, but at the but those areas weren't already super difficult. This area is already super difficult, and the increased enemy density just makes it slightly worse. This Volcano Morte is not here on normal mode, and it makes dealing with this Hellhound relatively difficult. Although we got super lucky and got the Summon Hellhound Shard, which is again the most powerful and most expensive Conjure Shard in the entire game. I do believe I explained that during the Jeeble Randomizer run that we got, because I think we actually scored it during that run, so I was actually able to show it off. But if not, I will most certainly be able to show it off going through this run. Although I probably won't, to be perfectly honest, because I've already got Inferno Breath at a relatively high ranking grades. Well, not grade, but a relatively high rank. So there are a lot of secrets in Inferno Cave that we are just skipping because I don't want to be in this area. Fuck, this area is so bad. How do I get across there, Cloud?
Projectile attacks.
Okay, so I have to spend mana in order to clear this area at all?
Hey man, it's either you spend the mana or you die. It's been a little while since we saved the game.
No, we saved right after we beat Doppelganger, so it's not been that far.
That was 7 minutes ago.
All right. Now, Red Remembrance is actually a really important shard because it is if you can we didn't do well, I mean, you and I have commentated over Dawn of Sorrow, but I didn't actually bring this up because I didn't know it at the time. But Dawn of Sorrow specifically has an extremely broken enchant soul called Lubricant, which gives you a percentile increase in damage depending on how low your HP is in comparison to your maximum HP. Red Remembrance does the same thing, but scales up with both rank and grade. So if you get 9/9 Red Remembrance and have about 10% of your HP remaining, you can just start shredding things. In fact, the highest possible damage output in the game involves using Red Remembrance in order to break 1,000 damage in a single strike with something or other. But this is my favorite boss in the game, Orbus. I love this guy. You'll notice that he's got these Dark Elemental fire attacks, which are actually Darkness Elemental. So Resist Dark actually works relatively well against this boss, but I am of the opinion that you don't really need it for this fight, because despite how much I love this fight, it's not actually all that difficult, but it feels tense. It feels great to play. I fucking love this fight. Interesting things to note about the fight are that Orbus on hard mode has the ability to actually launch a projectile while he's leaping backwards. His attack patterns are slightly faster, and he deals slightly more damage. But there's always dedicated safe zones while dealing with the majority of what he's dealing with. Even that, despite the fact that it has a faster cycle now, is still very much able to be dodged. And because he is an undead enemy, he is specifically weak to fire. Yeah, I don't know why they put the guy that's weak to fire in the fucking Inferno Cave. No one understands why he's here. He honestly should probably have been in Forgotten Underground Waterway, or the actual boss for Den of Behemoths, which we'll be getting into later. But I love this fight. This fight is so fucking fun. I mean, look at what's going on screen. We're constantly in a decent damage range. We have the ability to interact with him from pretty much any angle, and despite the fact that he deals a lot of damage, he doesn't deal so much damage that my mistakes are all that punishing. And we're constantly moving around the screen too. It's so very nice. And for defeating him, we get Invert, the last, well, not the last, but the second to last of our major mobility shards. With this, we have the ability to stand on ceilings.
Yay.
Okay. I'm doing an inventory check here because I need to go and re-equip my Alec stuff. Okay, we have re-equipped our book stuff, and now we can leave. Now we can attempt to leave the Inferno Cave, but we will save leaving the Inferno Cave for next part. Be safe, everybody.